In this video, I'm going to show you how to make owl necklaces just like this one that I'm wearing. I think that it's extremely cute and it's pretty easy to make once you know how to make it. You can do all kinds of different colors and different things like that. And so I really like it. And you don't have to make it into a necklace, you can just make the owl and have that. And then in this video, I'm not going to show you row by row how to make this necklace, otherwise this video would be ridiculously long. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to read the pattern that I made for this necklace, and I'm going to show you the basic idea of how to make the necklace, and that way you can just follow the pattern and it'll be really easy for you and you don't have to sit and listen to an extremely long video. And so I will put the pattern in the description below and you can look there for it, and I will also put it in a slideshow in the video, and so you can look for it there as well. And you can just copy and paste the pattern off of the description and then put it in a Word document, and then from there you can just print it out and you don't have to sit at your computer to do the necklace, which would be really nice because yeah, it's gonna take you a while to do. And so yeah, I hope you enjoy. So for your supplies, you'll need a couple of things. You'll need a pair of scissors or wire cutter, one of the two. You'll need your wire, and so that can be 28 gauge wire. I don't think you can go any larger than that. And then there are multiple ways that wire is packaged. You can get it in rolls like this or in hoops like this. Either one is fine. You'll also possibly need thread. If you don't want your necklace to be as stiff as the wire, you can use thread for the strand so that it's really bendy instead. And then if you do that, you'll need a bead needle. And then you'll need your beads. And so for your beads, you'll need at least 3 colors of beads. And then you'll need one for the wings, one for the nose and the eyes, and then one for the belly, like this. And so for the belly, I used a bunch of different colors to make it kind of look like feathers. And so I just bought a thing of beads that was mixed like this one, and that worked perfectly. But you don't have to do that, of course. And then you can do the nose and the eyes different colors and different things like that, so you can just mix up the colors. I mean, your rope can be a different color as well. It doesn't matter, like, that's part of the fun, is just mixing and matching your colors. And then beads come in a few different ways. They come in bags like this, and a bag like this is $4, and you get the most out of bags like this, so this is the best value. Next, you can buy them in tubes like this one, and these are also $4, but you get a lot less beads than you do in the bag. And then they also have tinier tubes like this one. These are like $2 to $3, and of course they have much less beads. And then my favorite way to buy beads is on strands like this. And the reason why I like to buy them in strands like this is because you can just slide the beads right off of this strand of string right onto whatever project you're making, and that makes it so much easier, and it's a lot faster than putting a bead on one by one by one. So I recommend buying beads like this if you can. And it's about $4, and you get somewhere between 18 to 20 strands of beads. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to make this necklace with bigger wire and bigger beads than you'll actually be using, just so that you guys can see better, because of course you're going to be using these really tiny beads, not these larger beads. But this is just so you can see better. And so for this part, I'm just going to show you the basic process of making these bars. So this isn't a pattern or anything. So the first thing you're going to want to do is put on however many beads I told you to put on. So I'm just going to put on a few. So once you have your beads on, just take your wires and push the beads to the middle so these two ends are the same place, and these beads are on the opposite side. Once you've done that, you are going to take the wire from each side and wrap it around the first bead. So by that I mean, here's the first bead here. I'm going to take my wire and bring it around and through the other side of the bead, like that. And then take it and pull it tight so that it's stationary. Then push all the beads over and do the same thing to this last bead, but make sure that it's tied up against these other beads so they don't move. So I have my beads, taking my wire and going the opposite way. And that's just the first row. So you only have to do this when you're starting out your owl. So next, if you were to have a certain pattern of beads, you just put however many those are. But I don't. So I'm just going to put the same amount of beads on. And so I put the beads on one side. And this is for the next row. So the black is the next row and the white is my first row. And so what I'm going to do is take this other wire that doesn't have the black beads on it, and I'm going to take it and push it through all those beads, all the black beads. So the wire is coming this way out, and I'm going to go the opposite way, like this. So that when I pull tight, it makes like a circle like that. Keep pulling, and it'll bring my beads together, just like that. Let's do that again. I use purple this time. So this time I put 8 beads on, and these rows only have 6, but that's okay. It'll just make my row a little bit bigger. And that's how you can increase and decrease on your owl to make it, you know, bigger or smaller. So I just took the wire, so this wire has the beads on it, and I took the opposite wire that doesn't have the beads on it and put it through all those other beads. And then pulled it tight. Just like that. Alright, so now I'm going to teach you how to read a pattern. So I have a few written out. And this is what the pattern will look like. So this means row 1, so that should be obvious, the first row, 15A. And so what that means is we're going to do 15 A beads. So you had picked a color prior to doing this, that would be your A color. And so I'll have a list of what each of the letters means. And so A, in this case, is this base color here. So the background, the feathers and stuff, not the wings, but this back part. So whatever color you decided that you wanted the belly and all that to be would be your A bead. And so in this case I have my white as my A bead, and so I put 15 A beads onto this first row. and I fastened both of them off. So then moving on to row 2, which would look like this. It says row 2, 3 B beads, 15 A beads, 3 B beads. So I have my 15 A beads from my last time, and now I'm going to put on 3 B beads, and my B color is going to be black. So I'll put 3 of those on. 1, 2, 3. That's what it said. 3B, 15A. So I'll put 15A beads on. I have my 15A beads, and now I'll put 3 more B beads, because that's what it says. 3B right there. So 3B, 15A, 3B. And I'll push them down. So here's what we have right here. And now I'll take my other wire and weave it through. And pull tight. Moving on to my next part of the pattern. It says row 3, so this is my third row. 1, 2, so we're going to be on our third. 8 B beads, 15 A beads, 8 B beads. So my B beads are black, so I'll put 8 of those on. Eight B beads, 15 A beads, so I'll do the 15A, and my A is white. And then I did my 15A, and now I have to do 8B, and B is black. So I have these beads. Take my wire, bring it around, and bring it through those beads. And it would look just like that. So you just continue following the patterns just like I showed you, and then I might throw another letter in there, but that just means a different color. So each letter stands for a color, and then the number before them tells you how many of that color you need to place. And then of course this row 3 tells you which row you're on. And that's how you follow the pattern. So for this necklace, you're going to need quite a bit of wire. I used a lot on this. I'm not quite sure the amount because I kept having to add to my wire because I didn't cut enough the first time. But I'm guessing it was close to 8 feet of wire that I used. And it could have been more. I doubt it was much less. But I know that I used a lot of wire. And so if you don't want to straight off the bat cut 8 feet of wire, you can do what I'm about to tell you, or if you end up not cutting enough wire, I can show you how to fix that. And so what you do is, say you ran out of wire, and that's what I just did. I ran out of wire. Oh no, what am I going to do? I'm never going to finish. Well, what you can do is you can add wire to this, and the simple way to do that is just take your wire and weave it right through the last row you did. So that would be this row. And I'm just going to push my wire through. And this can be extremely difficult sometimes. On this it was pretty easy because these beads were so big, but on these tiny beads it can be very hard sometimes and rather frustrating. So you might not want to count on it, but I've always got the wire through. It just sometimes it takes a while and you have to like move the beads a lot and wiggle your way through, but eventually it comes out. Anyway, so now that my wire is all the way through, and I made sure that they're the same size, which they're not. Yeah. Once you've made your wires the same size on both sides, you can just continue doing what you were doing before. It's the same thing, just the short wires kind of ignore. You can weave these in, so just take it and push it through the beads here. And that makes it disappear. It's all gone. Or, I'll have to show you on this, you can weave the beads up and down the side here instead, because it can be difficult to push them through these small beads. So you can just weave them in and out of the very edge of your owl, and that works as well. And then just cut them small and kind of bend the sharp edges inward so that you don't get them caught in your clothing or anything like that. And so those are just two ways to weave. But yeah, this is just so that if you run out of wire, you can add some more. And you'll also need this technique for your ears, which I will show you how to do in a moment. But for your ears, you're going to have to do this as well. So now I'm going to show you how you're going to be doing the ears of your owl. Now obviously this isn't a whole owl, but it's the same concept. And so your ears look just like this, just so you know what we're doing. And so how we're going to start this is, in order to do your ears, you're going to have to add a whole new piece of wire for each ear. So one for this side and one for this side. You can't use the extra wire you have attached, even if it's super long. I mean, you can cut the wire and then use the piece that you cut off, but that's all you can do. And so, once you know that, you're going to cut your piece of wire, and then you're going to put it through 6 beads on your owl. So by that I mean 6 beads from the farthest side. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's how many beads I'm going to be pushing this wire through. There. So I have it. It's around these 6 beads right here. And I'm just going to pull the wire till it's even on both sides. Once I have it even on both sides, I can continue to do what I did with the rest of my owl, doing the pattern that I was supposed to. So let's say it's 5 beads. And then take the wire from the other side, push it through, pull, and there's the start of my ear. And then I'll just keep doing that to the very tip and I'm done. And then do the exact same thing on the other side. So go 6 beads in and then put as many beads as I told you in the pattern back and forth on the sides. So now that you're done with your owl, you can either stop here and just have the owl, or you can make it into a necklace, which is what I'm going to show you how to do. And so make sure that if you're making it into a necklace that you have left some of your extra wire still connected. What we're going to do is make a chain. So I made this simple chain, it's just beads on string, it's nothing special, but you could make a cool chain if you wanted to. You just have to know how to make it, so you can look them up if you want, or if you already know how to make a chain you can do that, but I just simply did a strand of beads. And so what I'm going to do is take my beads and take my owl, and I'm just going to connect them by wrapping the wire. And so you can figure out if you want your owl to be further away from the chain or like right on top of the chain. I don't know if you can see what I mean, but right on top or kind of farther away with some extra wire between the owl and the chain. I'm going to do a little bit of extra, and there's no set way to connect the owl and the chain, but I'm going to, show you the way I'm going to do it. And so what I did is take the chain and put it between the two wires, like that. So one wire's on top and one wire's on the bottom. After I do that, I'm just going to push the wires in between two beads, and then I'm going to wrap the wires around. So I have a little bit of space, and I just put the chain in between the two wires, and then I wrap the wires around the chain a couple times. So it looks like this. The next step after you wrap your wires around 3 or 4 times is we're just going to push our wires down towards the owl, like so, and then you can just simply take the wires and weave them through the beads down, and just go through a few rows and then cut the extra wire off, and that way it'll be nice and secure. And do that with both of the wires, and then no one will be able to know they were there. And do that with the same thing on this side. So take your wire, put one on each side of your beads, like so, and then you need to decide how much space you want to leave between the beads and the owl, and if you want to have like a sag like that, or if you want it to be straight across. Once you decide that, do what you did before and kind of squish the wires between two beads, like so. And then wrap the wires around the string. Then once you've wrapped your wires, take the wires and point them down towards your owl, and then do what you did on this side and weave them into a couple of the rows of beads, and then just cut off the extra. I hope you enjoyed this video and gave me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I try and put out at least one new video a week, and you can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter.